Hi folks, and welcome back to Pattaya. A couple episodes ago, I did an episode about us moving, and pursuant to that, I started getting messages from people. Hey, what are you doing with your old house? And there's a lot of questions about the move as well and the new place. I'll get to some of those as well today. There was some reoccurring questions. But the point that I want to make here today is I started getting messages from people. Hey, the old house where you've lived up on Pattaya Hill, is that going to be for rent once you move out? And a very good question. So I talked to the landlord here. I don't own this house, of course, I rent it. I said, hey, I've got some messages from people that are interested in the house. What are going to be your new terms, etc. And I went over that with her, and she said, well, that's fine. If you have somebody, I'll just count it rented, and we will collect the deposit here pretty soon. So here's what's going on. I'm going to give you the terms of the house. Anybody that's interested can message me. It'll be multiple people. I already have some people, but I just thought it would be fair to kind of get as many as possible, and I'll put the names in a hat or something. We'll draw it. It'll be transparent, and I'll pick 3 names. I'll give the first one 48 hours. If they don't pan out, they give the second one 48 hours. If they don't pan out, go to the third one, etc. But you have to be here now. You have to be in the position to put a deposit down next week, and I'll tell you what all those numbers are and what it looks like, and we'll talk about the house and where is it and what you get for that money. When I rented this during COVID, it was 20,000 baht per month. And that was a good deal then. The rent's not gone up, and the rent won't go up for you either, as long as it is only 2 people. Like, it's only been 2 people living here since I've been here. If it's more than 2, it's 25,000 per month. The deposit, regardless of how many people, is 25,000. So I guess first, where is this? Where in the wide world of sports is this place? Well, Pattaya Hill, between sois 4 and 5. It's a small little alley that runs between those sois, and that's where this property is located. So there's a main entrance. The main entrance from the road actually looks like a garage door, but that's one of the features. This house actually has many features that you never find in a house of this price range here. It would be cool if it had 1 feature or 2, but to have probably at least 5 or 6 of these features that I'll point out along the way is really incredible, and that's kind of what makes it an exceptional deal. The first of which, a full garage, not only just an enclosed garage, but even an electric opening door. You just don't find that. You also have a covered parking space in the form of like a carport. That's very common, to have a covered parking space, and that's what you get. Just across from the house is a convenience of an ice and water store. Just a couple steps out the front door. We always buy ice there. Down another couple steps from there is one of these everything 29 baht stores. They have everything under the world, from little tools to kitchen goods, you name it. It's like the Woolworths of Thailand, and that's right there. So that's convenient as well. Beyond that, so now you're about 100 feet away, is an afternoon market, produce, vegetables, meats, fruit, that kind of thing. So that's a big convenience. All that you would do on foot. It's just steps away from the door, and we do. Also in that little afternoon market is a convenience store, something like a 7-Eleven, not as grand for convenience items. The closest 7-Eleven is out on Soi 4, which is just around the corner, and about a 1-minute motorbike ride or maybe a 5-minute walk. So I guess the pool, the first thing you notice right outside our kitchen door. This pool is not a private pool. It's not your own pool, which is good because you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for the maintenance, but you can use it. It is a communal for the other units across the way that are some rentals. Also, you have to excuse the clutter in here a little bit. We are getting ready to move. Lon is busy organizing everything, packing things, getting containers and all that. So it's a little bit cluttered in here. So bear that in mind. But nice to have a pool 2 steps out your door. And during COVID, the first year and a half I lived here, there was nobody in that pool ever. Now, the last 6 months, occasionally there's somebody in it, but it's not a lot. It's kind of tantamount to having a private pool, but not having to pay the maintenance on it. So that's a good thing. So I'm set back on the back patio. We have a fairly large back patio, I guess about maybe 8 by 16, something like that, and a large back garden. That's one of the features you don't get in a house of this price range usually. This is a very large back garden. You see we have the bamboo hut here. Lon has actually vegetables, chilies, eggplants. We've got bananas growing. It's a lot of usable land, all enclosed by a wall. Especially in this area of town, maybe dark side you see that more. Here in Pattaya, not so much. A yard this size is a hot commodity. So that's one of those features that you just usually don't see. Now, in terms of Pattaya Hill, how that stacks up in the greater Pattaya area, more expensive than Jomtien, or South Pattaya, about the same, maybe a little bit less than Central Pattaya, more expensive than dark side, but cheaper than Wongamat Naklua. So it is average to average high here in terms of the whole area and all the housing available. If you take the price per square meter and all of those and averaged it all out, this would be right at that average or a little bit higher than that average. So not exactly a high rent district, but higher, a little bit higher than average. So 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, a living room, a dining room, an office. At least I use it for an office. It just could be an extra room. Kitchen, of course. There are air conditioners in every room except for the kitchen and the laundry room. Speaking of laundry room, that's another feature you just don't see in a house of this price range. I mean, a proper laundry room with the washing machine, a sink, area to hang the clothes, etc. It's not very big, but it is a bona fide room with its own door, its own window, etc. So usually the washing machine's just stuck somewhere wherever it'll fit, maybe a lot of times even outside, like on a patio. Here you have a regular laundry room. Now, there's a door off that laundry room. Technically, this is a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath house, but that last bedroom is actually a maid's quarters. And since I've been living here, I kind of gave that room back to the landlord because she needed it for the residents. There's like a resident cleaning lady that cleans all the common areas around the pools and the stair steps and the entranceways. And she does that every day, prunes the trees and all that kind of stuff. So she lives there. That has its own electric meter, own water meter, etc. So even though it's kind of in the house, she's quiet as a mouse. It's only borders the kitchen, and you don't even know she's there. Speaking of electric and water, I just got my electric and water bill from last month. Usually comes around the middle of the month, 14th to 16th. For electric and water, the total was $29.18. It was about $400 for the water, so take that away. That's about $25 for the electric. The electric here is going to be as cheap as you get. It's government rate. It's predicated on, of course, how much you use those air conditioners. The air conditioners here, with the exception of the living room, which we hardly ever use, the ones in the bedroom and especially my office are fairly new. I'll turn that one on in the office, let it run for 5 minutes. It cools it down for an hour. So I run it about 5 minutes an hour if I'm in there, and that is where I spend most of my time in the afternoon and things like that, mornings. So that's what we use. I use it in the office to keep cool, and we use it at night in the bedroom when we sleep, but we're not using it to cool the whole house 24/7. That would be a much higher electric bill, of course. Every bedroom has its own bathroom. So the 4.5 baths, one for each bedroom, and then 1 half bath, meaning no shower down here on the lower level just across from my office. All of the bathrooms, except the half bath, the ones in the bedrooms have a shower, except the master has a shower and a tub. All of these bedrooms are like the size of a single apartment. And they all have very nice built-in wardrobes with drawers, places to hang clothes, cabinets, all very nice. That's another thing you don't see. And the master has a walk-in closet, something you would rarely see in a house at all, especially at this price range. Usually you might just have a wardrobe built in like the ones upstairs, but a walk-in closet here again, then with a whole like desk in there, makeup area, drawers, places to hang clothes, his and hers. That's another rarity that you just don't see. So garage, big backyard, walk-in closet, laundry room, you just don't see these type of items, and they all kind of combine for this one to have one good experience. So some of your questions from the last videos, we'll look around, we'll go upstairs, we'll look at some of the bedrooms up there. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs. That's it, just 3 bedrooms and a hallway upstairs. The upstairs isn't the whole house. There's no upstairs over the living room, for example. But some of your questions, one, was the new house that you're moving to in Rayong, is that a permanent residence or is that a temporary or vacation house? No, that's a permanent resident. We do have another project going on where we're maybe building a vacation, holiday home, weekend home, whatever you want to call it, up in the country, up in Isan. That's totally different. That's a whole different storyline. That's where we will live. We will move from here and move down there to the other house. A lot of people ask another question, where are you going to park all your motorbikes? I didn't see any covered parking or garage at the new house. There is no garage at the new house, but there is covered parking at front. However, and I didn't mention this, one of the criteria built into our contract that we insisted upon, there's a whole big concrete area in the back, and the landlord is to build a roof over that, which would provide all that area covered, and that's where we will park the bikes. In fact, he's already done that and sent us a picture of the roof. So he's ahead of schedule on that. We're not even going down there to do anything until the 21st. We'll start painting and doing some things. So we probably won't move until about June 20th. So sometime between June 20th and June 30th is when you could actually move in. However, as soon as we decide on the person, if you're the lucky person that gets the deal, probably next week, we'll have you in to meet the landlord, do a walkthrough. If you're selected out of the hat and I message you and you come and you say, oh, well, it looked good on video, but on person, I don't like it, that's fine. I always tell people you need to look at the house in person, not just pictures or video. You have to visit in person. If you say, oh, I changed my mind, it's not what I thought, whatever, that's fine. That's why I'm picking 3 names, whatever it is. But ideally, I'll pick the 3 names. I'll message them. The first will go first, second, third. First one will have their opportunity. They can come, they can do a walkthrough, they can meet the landlord. They like it, they can leave the deposit, and end of story. If they have changed their mind, I'll go to the second person and repeat that process. I think out of the top 3, we'll pick 3. Somebody will take it. This, like I said, I can't stress this enough, an exceptional deal. If anybody thinks that's not true and you can do better, please leave the information in the comments, because no matter what I say, there'll always be somebody that disagrees, and maybe for good reason. Everybody's perspective is different, but it will help the other people. If there's people watching this that are looking for a place and you say, well, that's not a good deal, I know a place that's a really good deal, then leave that in the comments. So maybe if they don't like this one, they can jump on that one. You know, in this neighborhood, there are 1-bedroom condos renting for 20,000 baht a month. There are houses that aren't quite comparable with this that are 50 and 60,000 baht a month. The only difference, I looked at a couple, they did have a private pool, not a communal pool. It's still a pool 2 steps out of your door, but the houses weren't as big. There wasn't a garage, there wasn't a garden. Where our garden was their pool, but they didn't have the garden. They didn't have a garage, etc. And the rooms and house didn't look as big for 50 and 60,000 baht a month. I had a realtor that I met and talked to, a nice guy, and I told him about this house, and I asked him to guess how much I was renting, and I think he said somewhere between 50 and 60. Because that's kind of a big house like this, multiple, four bedrooms, multiple floors, garden, access to the pool, garage, all that. That's generally what you're looking for. This is an exceptional deal. So somebody will be the beneficiary of it. I'd like it to be a viewer of the channel. That would be pretty cool. One of the big questions was, what are you going to do with the bamboo hut right behind me, the bamboo hut? And that's another good question. So originally, Lana and I had just planned on taking it. We said, well, she said she can take that apart, haul it down there, and then reassemble it in place. I said, well, that's fine too. But we were thinking about it, and we actually have more land at the new place. She'd actually like a bigger one. So this will be an option. We will give whoever rents this the option to buy that hut. The hut, we spent about 3,000 the first trip, about 1,200 the second trip, and a bunch of trips over to the little cheap store across the street for fasteners. It was over 4,000, way over 4,000 in just materials. But we'll give it, if somebody wants to rent the house, we'll give them the option for 4,000 baht. They can have that hut, and then they own it. They own the hut. If they leave, they can take it, or they can use it while they're here, whatever. If not, we'll take it. But for 4,000 baht, we would take that, buy new materials, and maybe add some money and build a new one down there. So either way, we can always, I think she can always modify this one as well, so keep a lot of the parts. Either way, it's either going or the new renter will purchase it. It does take up a little bit of the yard, but it kind of looks good back there, and it's right under that shade tree. The roof, it stays dry under there. Lan does a lot of her, she does sewing, sewing machine. She's always making garments. She's got a whole contract making garments for a lady down in Rayong. She uses that to do the cutting, the rough cutting and stuff. Then she brings it up here on the patio, and that's where she does the sewing. So anyway, she's gotten plenty of use out of the bamboo hut. Okay, another reoccurring question was, well, why are you moving in the first place? So we love the house. It's not because of the house. That's not the thing. We love the house. I've always loved this. In fact, it's one of my favorite places I've ever lived in my whole life. I'm in my mid-50s and lived a lot of different places. I really like this place. But this year, for the last 6-7 months, the traffic, the buses, the tour groups, every time I go somewhere, it's just a big bunch of drama. You know, we'll drive, we'll go on trips, we'll go up to Korat, we'll go down to Rayong, we'll go somewhere. We went to Chantaburi a couple of weeks ago, and I have these long drives, and I'm fine the whole way, except for the last 20 minutes, getting back into Pattaya. The things I see in traffic, a lot of people have a me first attitude when it comes to traffic. It isn't so much the Thais, it's the bus drivers, it's the tourists, it's the people in rental cars, etc. So it's just too much. We like a quiet surrounding for day-to-day life. So what are some of the pros and cons of living in this neighborhood and living in this area? I'll give you a con first. This is another thing. Anytime you want to go to get on the motorway or get on Sukhumvit Road, anytime you want to leave Pattaya and go somewhere, it's this huge amount of drama just getting to the motorway, just getting to Sukhumvit Road. You know, when I lived in central Pattaya at the condo in Grand Avenue, I could be to Sukhumvit Road in 5 minutes, no red lights. Now, it's always at least 2, some days 4 red lights, depending on how you go, Tepperset Road, Pattaya Thai. And I'm talking about in a car. A bike, you can dodge and weave and wind through South Pattaya and do some crazy things and miss some of it. But in a car, if we're going somewhere, going out on a trip, it's just this huge drama because this is as far as you can get. This is kind of a cape, this Pratamnak Hill, Cozy Beach area. It's like a cape that sticks out, and it's as far as you can get from Sukhumvit Road and the motorway here in the greater Pattaya region. Even in Jomtien, a lot of people, you can cut right from Beach Road and straight shot to Sukhumvit Road. There's a couple arteries there, not too bad. It's a different animal here. So that would be a con. What would be a pro? Well, you are kind of in the middle between Pattaya and Jomtien. So we could be to Walking Street in 5 minutes on a motorbike, and we could be to Jomtien in 5 minutes on a motorbike. There's something to be said for that. So depending on what type of lifestyle you have and what are the things you like to do, there are pros and cons. So I told you what's kind of right out your door, across the street from the house. But in the neighborhood, I mean, just the next little alley up. So you could walk there in about 5-6 minutes. We rode the motorbike up there yesterday. It's a great place there. In fact, it's been billed as the best pad Thai in all of Pattaya. And they have pad kaprao, they have Thai food, but they're only open from, I don't know, about 9 in the morning till about 4 in the afternoon. But it's a great lunch place, late morning, early afternoon, called Da Jup. Very famous. So that's just right around the corner. You can always get something reasonable and very good. They even had these little pieces of cornbread. There's a separate vendor, and I can hear people, that's not cornbread. You're right, it's bread that they make, and it's got corn in it, so I don't know what else to call it, but it's not cornbread. But there's that lady, there's another lady selling little ices, whatever, ice snowballs. Anyway, we go there once in a while. That's just right around the corner. Also up there, as I alluded to, is the 7-Eleven. Next to the 7-Eleven is a motorbike repair shop. There's moto taxi stand right there, right up from the motorbike repair shop. So that would be your closest moto taxi type hub. So I'll throw the email address on the screen now. Just send an email to that, just your name and town. Say, Joe from Jomtien, can you add me to the pot? Or whatever you just name it. You don't have to give any of your details or anything. I'll have your email. I will, once I pick the names, and I'll do a little video segment of that too. Once we pick the names, then I will will reply to that email and say, hey, you're the first one on the list, or you're number 2 or whatever. Can you come tomorrow and do your walkthrough, etc. So be prepared. That's why you have to be here. Being here is the best way to get a deal. When deals like this come up, if you're here, you can jump on them. If you're moving in 6 months or moving in a month, it's not. Now, this will have to be a 1-year term. There are no discounts for multiple years, but it has to be at least a 1-year lease. So 1 year, you'll be signing a contract for 1 year at 20,000 baht per month, as long as it's 2 people. Or 25,000 baht a month if it's a family with kids or whatever. It's more than 2 people. Or maybe it's a mother-in-law that lives with you. Whatever it is, if it's more than 2 people, 25,000 a month, 1-year lease. No discount for prepaying. That's the price. It is what it is. It's very simple here. Your move-in date, you'll be expected to give a deposit next week, but your move-in date will be sometime between the 20th of June and the 30th of June, whenever in there that you want. I will definitely be out by the 20th of June, and it'll be ready. I've already paid not only the deposit, but the first month's rent at our new place a week ago when we did the last video down there. All you would be expected to do is pay the deposit. You can pay your first month's rent on the day you move in. So that would be fine as well. There's a lady here, very, very nice lady, that is like the manager of this whole property, because this property includes a house on this side, a house way on the other end of the property, and then some like 2 apartment building or condo buildings in between. small buildings, and there's another pool down there, etc. So she kind of manages the whole thing. That's who you pay your rent to. I just pay the rent on the banking app to her every month. She sends me the electric and water bill in a snapshot online. I see what that is. I pay it. It's very easy. They're very easy to deal with. It's no fuss, no muss. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm terrible with bills and organizing all that stuff. This couldn't be easier. So anyway, there you go. There's a look at the house. Like I said, excuse the clutter, but hopefully if you're looking for a place, this might be a good fit for somebody out there. So even if you've messaged me before, please message me again. I did get about three to five messages before, but they're different. They're maybe Facebook messages, line messages, messages from my Rides for Kickz fan page on Facebook. I need them all through email. That way I can organize them all and make sure I don't miss anybody, make sure it's fair and equitable, and easy for me to reply to as well. So if you are interested, even if you sent the message before, please resend it by email using the email address on the screen, and that way you're in the running, and who knows, you might be living in my in my house here in Pattaya. So, of course, after all that, I would still forget to mention a couple things. One, most all the furniture you see is included, with the exception of, in the office here, the desk, office chair, and sofa are not included. The wooden shelves and cabinets in there would be, as well as just about everything else that you might have seen in the house. I also forgot to mention this, just right around the corner from us, this is a big convenience, beverage delivery there, any kind of beverage that you like, water, beer, Coke, whatever. They deliver it to the house, which is only right around the corner anyway, but that's convenient. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. Something else next time right here from Pattaya, but for this one, gotta go ahead and leave it off right here. And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.